welcome back to another exciting, effective living strategy conversation. I am Coach Ricardo Miller, and I'm excited about this new year. Happy New Year's, everybody. Listen, God has brought us over to a new year. Now, the question is, what are you going to do with it? Now, I'm joined with a good friend and a veteran in the space. I call her a veteran in the space because her and her husband have been helping couples all over the world through their virtual space, also there in the Bahamas and throughout the region. I want to welcome back to Effective Living, Miss Linda Patrick. How are you doing, lady?
Hello, hello. I am doing incredibly awesome, amazing. I am just so excited about this new year. And of course, I am an Effective Living ambassador. So I am all excited about being here and this conversation today. Thanks for having me, Coach Ricardo Miller.
Listen, you are coming in, streaming in from the Bahamas. How is Vito? How's your family? How you guys feel about 2024?
Listen, we are all excited. The kids are great. You know, it's three of them. Vito is doing incredibly awesome. I'm like, oh, I'm so blessed to have him. It's just amazing when you can just, wake up and know that, hey, you have someone beside you who you can do life together. You can love together. You can share together. So we're doing incredibly great. And of course, we're excited to be here in the Bahamas where it just keeps getting better. Like our relationship, like what we do with couples. And of course, hey, life on a whole. And so we just want to encourage couples to do that. Don't stay stuck. Just keep getting better with everything you're doing with your spouse.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, today on day one, I wanted to make healthy marriage, a priority. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the divorce rate continues to climb, and there will be some people who will be signing them papers this year, and they didn't sign up to sign them papers. But now they're considering signing papers. You got to do some work to make your marriage healthy. Miss Linda, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that whole balancing act of keeping marriage healthy. There are some people, they get caught up in their profession. They get caught up in their hobbies. They get caught up sometime in their children. There's just so much we can get caught up in and not keep the balancing dynamics of a healthy marriage. What do you say about that?
Well, listen, the first thing couples have to make sure and make certain of is that priority. What is the number one priority? And in your relationship, in your marriage, both of you are. So first of all, establish it's me and you. It's you and your spouse. Yeah. And then everything else is on the peripheral. Okay. Yeah. So you're in the circle and everybody else. So like what we do, Vito and I are in this circle. He likes to use triangle, but hey, I'm a circle lady. Right? So we're in the first circle. We're in that inner circle.
Yeah.
So it's just us two and everything that affects us. And then in the little outer circle, we have our children. Yeah. So we're in the inner circle. Our children are on the outside of that. And then, of course, family comes on the outside of the children and so forth and so on. So we make sure that in order to keep the balance, we make sure that we are connected first and nothing else gets in that circle based on where they are. So one of the first things we do in terms of making sure that we are balanced is, first of all, we work hard. Then this is especially as it relates to work, because sometimes we can let work get in, affect our relationship. So one of the things that we do is we make sure that we work hard at work, then we release work when we are home.
Okay.
So work is not impacting home where it's impacting our relationship negatively. So that's one of the first things we do. And then one of the second things we do is, and then we encourage couples to do this one too, is when you are at home and with your spouse, especially with your spouse, learn to be present. And Coach Ricardo, I had a hard time dealing with this and doing this and being that. So speaking and saying this now is really like a lesson that I've learned, because I used to take everything at work home. And of course, dealing with kids, dealing with parents, dealing with all of this in education, it's just easy to kind of like bring the work home. And I had to learn to create that balance. So if he's working longer or later, then maybe I could use some of that time to do work. But when we're home together, And when we have decided this is our home time, leave work and
Wow.
work and learn to prioritize the time that we spend together as a couple. So that's one of the things we do. We learn to be present. And then another thing we do is follow a schedule.
Okay.
And that allows us to kind of have a balance as busy professionals because we know what should be done when. So if the world is trying to close in our circle and make it, smaller and trying to come in this inner circle, we know how to balance and keep it at bay. And so those are some of the things that we do. So I encourage couples to decide know what is important first,
Yeah.
and then kind of like leave the other things on the outside of that circle.
Miss Linda, there are a lot of married couples going into this year frustrated because of technology. The tablet and the phone has taken over their bed life. Literally. And going into this new year, there are a lot of wives who could say, boy, Miss Linda, give us some advice. How should we manage ourselves with technology? When it's not the TV, it's the tablet. When it's not the tablet, it's the phone. And so if the truth be told, there are a lot of people who aren't spending time with each other. What do you say about technology and the relationship and the need to manage it so it doesn't get between, that you mentioned that being present? Because here's the deal, Miss Linda. We go out and we see couples at dinners table and both of them are on their device.
With the phones.
Right? You see pictures now of couples in bed with their device. You know what I'm saying? What do you say?
Well, listen, this reminds me of I don't know, I think beginning of effective living or something, but I know at one point we had this conversation where, hey, listen, we're taking the technology out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
And like we tell our kids, hey, technology not at the dinner table. So put those cell phones away when it's time for dinner, no technology. In the bed, we have to kind of like work on that. Yeah. But when we look at technology, it can harm or hurt our relationship. Okay. So we can leverage it to have communication throughout the day with your spouse. Hey, that's a positive use of technology. You can use technology for intentional dating, for further connection with your spouse, to add excitement to your relationship. You get excited about seeing each other later. You can communicate all of this using technology for the plans and the events you are planning to participate in. So you can do that. You can do those video calls, talk to your spouse, during your break. If you work during the day, both of you are away, you can use that. Hey, pop in some video calls with your spouse, text them. Hey, I can't wait to see you tonight. Tonight is special. Kind of like warm up your spouse during the day so that at night you can really, really have a warm spouse. Now, when it's a problem with technology is when you're together, but you're disconnected because everyone else is using their cell phone. And so, sometimes we might be at home, for example, Vito and I, and we may message each other a funny joke or something like, hey, you have to see this because, someone sent it. But we don't spend all of our time on the technology. We have to learn how to kind of like connect as humans, like be in each other's space, be present. Because if you don't do that, it's the device that is replacing your spouse. So what you want to do, take some time out. Hey, make that a part of your schedule. Okay, so if you need to kind of like release after work, and this is your way of doing it, using the technology, then you know that, hey, I have an hour to either watch TV, catch up on my emails, go and watch TikTok. Hey, you can find us on TikTok. Go look up Unique Couples videos on TikTok or something. You can do that, but schedule it. Like this, we're gonna do this at this time. Okay, so everyone is doing their activities, and that's fine. But there needs to be an end time. Time out, end time, technology time done. We need to connect, and it's something that we need to be intentional about. It's not going to happen by happenstance. Okay, it's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. So you can go ahead and work on your relationship. Do the simple daily things that will change your relationship, those habits, or you can decide to do something else, and it will definitely kind of like make your relationship even harder to manage in these times. So for this new year,
Yeah.
try that.
That's so good. That's so good. Ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen, I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and I'm joined with Miss Linda Patrick, streaming in live from the Bahamas. And we wanted to start the new year off challenging married couples to put some priorities on their marriage, y'all. Listen, man, keep that honey in the moon. Hello, hello. Come on, keep that joy and that spirit of appreciation for each other, because nobody come together to break up. Okay, nobody put those rings on with the intent to get a divorce and this year, unfortunately, there are a lot of married couples who will end up getting a divorce this year, and for many different reasons. But for those of us who are married and you want to keep your marriage forever and you want to keep it healthy, we're giving you some practical strategies that you should implement. Miss Linda, now let's talk about self-care. Let's talk about self-care. Let's talk about that whole element of making sure you're taking care of yourself so that you can enjoy the other person. You know, with Karen, she's been encouraging me to go with her and get my nails done. I'm like, hold on, man, I'm from Soldier Road. I don't know, but no nails getting done. But it's a part of self-care. What's your view on self-care in the relationship?
Listen, self-care is my jam. And I can say that because I know there was a point in my life when I was definitely not participating in self-care. And Vito would tell me, oh, you have to learn to love yourself first before you can love us,
Yeah.
because I would just go about doing everything for them or for everyone else and not take the time out to do what I love, what nourishes me. And self-care is all about keeping your body, mind, and spirit healthy. And if you're not doing that, it really would affect your relationship. So some of the things that I encourage individually, of course, I encourage women. We have that throughout our Being Me Academy. That's a little thing we do at Wives and Women on a Whole. But one of the things I encourage and which we encourage couples to do, especially when they come to us individually or we do a group setting, is knowing who they are, right? And a part of that is know what refreshes you, know what releases you, know what helps you to relax. So those are 3 areas that I like to participate or have self-care in. So release. What helps you to release? What helps you to just like wind down? Maybe it's driving to work, or maybe driving from work. Yeah, I love the driving from work one, right? Those long distance driving from work. And then there's just a process of, as the trees and everything pass you or whatever pass you, it's like a process of kind of like decluttering everything. And that could be a mental thing as well. It could be dancing for some people as a way to release, taking a walk. So one of the first things is knowing how to release.
Yes.
Let go of the tension of whatever is in the past or whatever you had from the work day or whatever. Release that. And then go about what relaxes you.
Yeah.
You talk about you and Karen doing a little spa. Hey, that may be something that relaxes somebody. Hey, having a couples massage, something that you do to each other, or have someone, a professional, do to both of you at the same time. Maybe it's watching the waves like I like to do. Maybe it's a comedy show or listening to music. What relaxes you? And then think about what you can do. Maybe it's something that you like and your spouse doesn't necessarily like, but it's something that you can compromise on and decide that, hey, we can do this together. And then the third thing is what rejuvenates you, what recharges you, okay, what gives you energy. And those are things that you can use to take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Is it going out on a date? Is it reading a book together? Just connecting as a couple and doing it where you're taking care of your mind. Is it exercising together? Is it sexercising together? What is it that connects you and help you to release and really take care of yourself? Now, individually for me, hey, I take my time out to go and do my hair, and that's a no kid zone. No one bothers me. Like that's my 4 or 5 hours for me.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're joined with Linda Patrick, and we're talking all things marriage. We're talking, how do I make sure that I do right with my marriage? And one of those points she just mentioned was you need to have some time for you. Okay. You want to do that. And you want to study, okay, what is self-care for us? Okay? Because if we don't pay attention to us, we can find ourselves losing each other because we had not made sure that the health and well-being of each other was paramount. Okay. Next one I want to talk about, Miss Linda, is this ever-changing society we're in, adapting to change. You know, some married couples, man, listen, some guys are like a brick wall. And some women are like, listen, they're brick walls too, right? And so that's just me, and I'm not changing, but everything's changing. I'm not a technology person. I'm just not a going out person. I don't like social. Now, you did like it when you got married, but now that you're married and you're a couple of years in, well, I don't like go out. I don't like doing this. And how important is change and adapting to the necessary adjustments that marriage brings along? Because marriage brings changes like everything else. What's your view?
Listen, change, my people, we know is the only constant.
Yeah.
So change is guaranteed to happen. So we have to be at the point where we embrace it. And in our relationships, that is going to be important. Now, we know, hey, men go into our relationships, into marriages saying, hey, I want my wife to be exactly the same. So that's not a change you anticipate. And of course, women tend to go into the relationship thinking, oh, yes, he will change. I will get him to change. But anyway, for couples facing change, the first thing that I believe couples should do, I know that we have definitely practiced this, is first make the commitment to be you. It's you two against the problems, against the challenges, against the world, against the changes. It's we are going to be the constant. So no matter what is happening around us, we are going to be the constant. Okay. So your relationship is the most important issue. So that's the first thing. So when you're thinking about the changes that happen around you, know that you two have to be, hey, we love each other. We're going to be in this for life. We may not like each other at this time, or things may be, a little hectic or crazy, but we're in this together. Our relationship is the most important issue. So the first thing is, hey, decide that, hey, whatever this change or problem or whatever it is, this is a question I ask. Is it going to matter 10 years from now?
Wow.
Like my spouse wants to use the toothpaste a different way, or we were trying to decide who will drive this car or who will do this. Like simple little things that kind of like get us flustered and frustrated and make our relationship tense. Ask yourself, is this going to matter 10 years from now? Would it really matter that my spouse did or didn't do this particular thing? Or if your spouse is sick, like, would that really matter if your spouse didn't do this particular thing the way you wanted to? And when you ask yourself that question and your answer is no, then you know that it's something that you can compromise or relax about. Don't get so stiff and so dead set that this is the way it must happen. If it doesn't happen this way, it's going to be a problem. So I think one of the major things that people have an issue with is when they look back at their life, it's the regrets. It's not really the things that they did, but the things that they didn't do. So when you look at the changes that are coming and affecting your relationship, ask yourself, if you're sitting on your deathbed, or if you're sick or your spouse is sick, would that be an issue that you are going to take with you? Or would it be like, hey, I will trade all of that just to have moments with my spouse? And that kind of put things in perspective for me. Another thing that you can do when you face these changes is make a list of advantages you can gain from the changes that occur. Okay, so change will happen. That's life. But how can you look at the changes as something positive for your relationship? Yeah. Okay, so maybe your spouse likes to, go out and do all of these things and, have the date nights or have fun with technology and all of these different things, but you're not so into it, but you were doing it because, hey, you wanted to catch this particular person. Well, keep catching them. When you're married doesn't mean that you stop catching your spouse. Like, right. Keep doing those activities because that is what is going to keep the spice in your relationship. Treat it all like a dating game.
Man, I like that. Man, we're almost done, but listen, we got to talk about goals alignment, man. Sometimes married couples go through separation because one person is going this way and the other person is going that way. And, the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? Goal alignments. What's your view there?
Well, earlier I said that your relationship is the most important issue, right?
Yeah.
And so when your goals kind of like if you're if you are at the point now in your relationship where you feel as if your goals don't align, then you kind of like take a back step and do this, which is what we encourage couples to do in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. So in order to have a shared vision of your life together, you need to put the individual goals together. So individually first, couples need to look at what it is they want out of life, different, go through the different categories: health, educationally, professionally, your career goals and all of those things that you would like, finances, all of that. Do that individually first as a couple, okay? And once you've done that, then you can come together. So goal setting should be a combination of your individual and couples goals, which should be completed and reviewed at least 3 times a year. Okay, so that's something that we practice to make sure that, hey, we are staying connected. We know where we're going as a family, as a couple, and everything we do on a daily basis lines up with that. So couples need to look at the timing of your goals. Okay, is it practical for the family or for your relationship at the time? So, for example, if you're going to do further studies, maybe it's not January semester. Maybe you can put it on or do the summer sessions, or maybe you do the fall session, because right now things are really hectic for your spouse at work. So maybe now is not the time to kind of like do that. But individually that, hey, getting a further degree or whatever professional upgrade is a part of your goal. Okay, so you have to look at the timing of your goals to make sure that it works for your family. Doesn't mean that it won't happen. It's just making sure the timing is correct for both of you. And then you have to also look at the impact of your goal. Okay, how will this impact my spouse? If I decide to move to another island or move to another country, is this going to help my relationship? And when you do those lists of advantages and disadvantages of your decisions, ask yourself, are you two the most important issue in this? And if it's not, and it's going to be something that hurts your relationship, then you have to kind of like reevaluate your goal, where you put it, because you want, at the end of the day, the impact to be a healthier relationship for you and your spouse. So goal setting, I love goal setting. Goal setting is great. You can do it individually, get together as couples and do it, but make sure that you know that, hey, the health of your relationship is important. We can do a whole lot. We can go so far individually, but it's the team, your family team, that will make you go further. Okay? Yeah.
So good. So good. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're joined with Linda Patrick, streaming in from Freeport, Bahamas. I almost said Nassau. She would be like, no, it's not Nassau. But, they're kingdom representatives, man. They are doing a phenomenal job with unique couples. And I just wanted Miss Linda to join us on day one, because I believe, listen, guys, what you give your attention to, you will thrive in. Okay, or it will increase for you. And I think one of the things, if you're a married person or planning on being married, you want to make sure that you start the year off right, not only with your money, not only with your health, but also with your marriage, okay, with your relationship. Ms. Linda, let's talk about, I have 2 more areas because our time's almost up, but I have to plug this one in: communication. Oh man, this is a new year, and a lot of people haven't done the work to make sure that they're building, communication in a healthy way. That the evolution of communication, the whole dynamics of even texting can be done wrong, or a voice note can be done wrong, right? Clearly, we know in writing, sending an email can be done wrong. Well, when it comes to the marriage, a lot of times people don't think about the different forms of communication and what will set their spouse off. Talk to us.
Yeah, so when it comes to communication, It happens. Whether or not we believe it's happening, communication is happening. Now, whether it's effective,
Right.
that is the issue, right? So,
Yeah.
in order to ensure that your relationship is really healthy, you have to have that effective communication. And part of that is when you communicate, someone is sending out the message. Okay, so we have a sender, we have a receiver, and in between that, there has to be a check for understanding,
Okay.
check for feelings, check to know that, hey, we're still connected. So when you speak to your spouse and you tell them something or you say something, and when we use technology, we have to be extra careful. We have to go the extra effort because things get lost in black and white sometimes. And
Yeah.
even when we're communicating, things get lost, like verbally, face to face. But one of the things we have to do is check for understanding. So if you say something to your spouse, and of course, so you're sending out this message and your spouse responds back, that's not the end of it. You have to then go ahead and ask, can you kind of like repeat what I said? Did you understand what I said? What did you understand from what I said? Because you might say, hey, you this is the best you've ever looked. And you may think that's a compliment to your spouse. And your spouse might be in a different zone and she's thinking, so what is he saying? I didn't look good yesterday. I didn't look good the day before. I didn't look like, hey, like all of that, I
Yeah.
can get that message.
Yeah.
Your wife can get that from that message that, hey, I looked bad before. I didn't look good this time. Hey, but that is not what was communicated. Or
Right.
that was not maybe what your husband intended to communicate.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so understanding each other's heart, knowing that, hey, my husband isn't really set out to. Hopefully we're in this relationship, because I know some people are in some toxic relationships,
Yeah.
but understanding that, hey, my spouse wants the best for me. My spouse loves me. My spouse wouldn't intentionally say, hopefully, nothing or do anything to hurt me. And if something happens where I feel hurt or misunderstood, I need to clarify. I need to check to really understand, is this the intended message? Is this what you wanted me to hear, to feel? And so the checking for understanding, I think that is where we go wrong with communication. So we say things to each other, but we also have to make sure that we understand what is said. And then for the person who is speaking, you have to understand what you're transmitting. Okay. Would the words you say and the tune you use, ladies, we could use our tune, we could use our body language, all of the non-verbals.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
use that. And we have to look at ourselves and say, ask ourselves, am I communicating, whether it's non-verbally or verbally, am I communicating an effective message to
Yeah.
let my spouse know that I care? Or am I upset and hurt and angry and I just want to communicate that? And that's not a problem. You want to communicate and let your spouse know that you're angry or upset, that's fine. But you need to be aware of it, because what you communicate, you're going to get back. And if that isn't what you want to get back, then you have to know how to communicate effectively so that you don't destroy your relationship, but build it up. So everybody could be right, but
Yeah.
everybody won't be married. So you want to be right, or you want to be in a healthy relationship where you learn to compromise. And that is where communication is important.
Man, that is so good. Miss Linda, thank you so much. I have to ask you this in closing. Let's talk about community, building community. Community building in marriage is necessary. Clearly, you don't want to do life alone. You've come together as a couple, but there is strength that can come from being around others who are doing well. What tips, what strategy would you give as we get ready to close our talk out on this whole concept of community building?
So when we look at community and how it impacts our relationship, you can create the community you want. You can create this healthy space. You
Yep.
can have this as a part of your circle. And
Yep.
one of the things that we have done is created a community where couples come together to do enrichment activities.
Yep.
So maybe you want to join up with some people and have, hey, let's do some group dating. That would be a community because you have couples who are committed. They're unique couples because they're committed to their relationship above everything else. So they come together, do activities, do fun activities, and go on group dates. That's a community that you can create. And then you have built-in communities already that you can tap into. And those are important as well. For example, you have your civic organization. One of the things that I think even helps us in our relationship is the fact that we do service together. Okay, so deciding as a couple to go and join a community organization together where you work together. This is going to bring another element to your relationship because now you are together helping people, right? Doing an activity together. And you can come now and you can talk about this. You're excited about this. This is something that you did together, which is kind of like different from your normal routine. So being involved in some type of service organization will help. And then you have your church group. For those of you who, attend church, this can also be something that you do. Okay. So you have your church group. And when we look at your church organizations, that could help you build community as well. You can be with like-minded persons who believe in marriage, who will support, because guess what? We take it for granted that everyone believes in marriage. You have people out there, Coach Ricardo, that'll tell you, girl, don't believe what he says. Girl, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You better leave that man, or hey, don't get married, or marriages, aren't for people now. You have people who say these things, who believe these things, who really want to see relationships falter and fail. And some of it is because they don't believe in it. But for some people, hey, it's because, hey, I want your relationship to fail because I want that relationship. Or if I can't have it, nobody else should have it. So you don't know the background and what people are coming with. And so you have to surround yourself with a community that kind of like believes what you believe in terms of, hey, healthy marriages are here to stay. We need healthy marriages because it impacts our communities. It affects our children. Oh my goodness, the effect on our children. We need to surround ourselves with other couples. And then we don't just want to be with couples and just like to be with couples. You have to make sure that the activities you do are healthy as well, because that could lead to another different angle, a slippery slope of something else too. So you want to make sure that you get the support system. And of course, your family can help as well. Making sure that, hey, you have the support you need, especially if you have kids, to really have that support. So community support is definitely something important because, hey, even if you decide that you want to do activities with couples, will people support that, or would they be more turned off and say, hey, no, let's go do a support a bar or something, or let's support something else that's not really promoting the family.
So good, so good. Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Patrick joined us today and dropped the bomb, man. Started the new year off giving you good stuff. If you know someone who is married, you need to tag them and tell them, hey, listen to this, start the new year off, do the work to get your marriage where it needs to be, or do the work to keep your marriage where it is. Okay, but be it as it may, there's some work that has to be done. Now, Miss Linda, you guys have an incredible platform and you have a service that people can tap into. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about what you guys do and a little bit about Unique Couples.
Okay, well, Unique Couples is all about building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. And we do that starting with the individual. So one of the things that we have and realized that we had to do as it relates to couples was make sure that individually they have it together. So even when we, work with and counsel couples, hey, we have to do some individual work. And so we have the Being Me Academy that I host for ladies. So that's something, if you're interested in, #Being Me, and I will get back to you with details on that. But you can find us on, I guess, all social media platforms as Unique Couples. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can connect with us in our How to Strengthen Your Marriage Facebook group as well. And if you really want to start working on your relations starting today, hey, day one. And if you have not gotten our 7 days of loving your spouse tracker, #tracker in the comments where you are. with us and get your free 7 days of Loving Your Spouse tracker. And that helps you kind of track what you do for those 7 days. And if you've done that already, then you should definitely be a part of we have our creating just the marriage of your dreams. So this is the marriage of your dreams course that we have, that we offer couples and to do. It's just something that really keeps them connected and strengthened in their relationship. So, and then for those of you who are engaged, we also have something for you. So go ahead, check us out at Unique Couples, and we have some interesting stuff coming up this year. Coach Ricardo, and we're so excited to share. So keep in touch. But the quickest way to kind of like get in touch with us, if you're married, if you're newlywed, or if you've been married for 20 or plus years, like we are, connect with us in our How to Strengthen Your Marriage Facebook group, and you'll get connected to all of our resources there. And you can also join us or message us at info@uniquecouples.com. So connect with us as we look at building, transforming marriages, keeping marriages motivated, inspired, and transformed. That is what we do. We do it, and we've done it for our relationship, and we help couples do it for theirs as well.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, well, there you have it. It's day one, y'all. Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. I'm praying that this is your best year ever. I pray that this will be the year where your marriage ends up growing roots that is so healthy that it allows you guys to enjoy decades together, decades upon decades together, because it is possible. To have a healthy marriage is possible. And so you got to commit to the principles that you just heard and align yourself with organizations like Unique Couples. So thank you so much, Linda. I love you and Vito and your family. And I'm so grateful that Karen and I have you guys in our lives. We're looking forward to hosting you all in Dallas soon. We're going to make it happen.
Very soon. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for having me. Coach Ricardo. Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone. Ladies, love to connect with you and definitely see us. Thank you so much, Coach Ricardo. Happy New Year.
God bless you. Happy New Year's, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.